Today we are going to do book club. Do we have a slide for book club? Perfect. Now, I know some people were expecting church, but I decided we were going to do book club. Anyone here enjoy reading books? Yeah, okay. We have quite a few people who enjoy reading books, actually. And I really enjoyed reading books. And at our two previous churches, we had a book club. And I'm not going to say that I'm going to start a book club, but if anybody here likes reading books and wants to start a book club, I'll come. The book we are going to be looking at today is a book called Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. I actually do have the physical book, but I forgot to bring it. Unreasonable Hospitality. This is a leadership book. Will Guidara, I don't know if he's a Christian or not. It's not specifically for Christians. He wrote it mainly for people in hospitality. So he is basically a restaurateur. And in the space of 7 years, he took over a mid-range brasserie in New York and took it from 0 stars to 3 Michelin stars, from not even being on the list of the top 50 restaurants in the world to the #1 restaurant in the world in the space of 7 years. And so Unreasonable Hospitality is a lot of the concepts and the motivations behind it. So AI nowadays is running rampant. It is so huge. Everyone uses AI. But the statistics from the BBC recently is that 1 in 3 people have used AI for relational connection, so have poured out problems in the past and sought guidance from AI. And 1 in 25 people regularly seek connection and interaction from AI. So what that looks like is that in this room, at least one person every single day is getting their relationship and getting their interaction from AI, from computer. And what that looks like is that probably about 10 people in this room have at some point turned to AI for advice. I'm going to be vulnerable, guys. I've done that. So, I'm one of that 10. There's 9 more of you. But that's not what God calls us to do. He doesn't put us down on earth and say, okay, be in relationship with AI and me. No, he says be in relationship with each other. That's what we're created for. And so I believe that the church is the hope of the world, but that people can find Jesus through other people. People can feel the love of Jesus through people. So we're going to look at a verse in Galatians, but let me tell you a little bit about the context of the verse. So there is a guy called Paul, and Paul he didn't know Jesus when Jesus was alive. He didn't follow Jesus when Jesus was alive. Jesus had died and rose again before Paul even became a believer. But from the time that Paul became a believer until his death, his whole mission was to live for Jesus and encourage other people to live for Jesus. So a lot of he's written a lot of the New Testament and a lot of the letters. So this is a letter that he's sending to a church in Galatia. It's actually his first letter that he ever wrote, and he's saying these are people who have no understanding. They're not Jewish people. They're people who have heard the gospel. They've heard, oh, this Jesus guy, he died for my sins and rose again. Wow, I want to live for him. How do I live for him? Do I still need to sacrifice things? Do I still need to do? And he's like, calm down. So first he taught them when he was there, and now he's sending a letter and saying, this is how you live. You love Jesus and you want to live for him? This is how you live. So what it says is, so let's not get tired of doing what is good. I'm tired today. I'm tired in general all the time. And ever since I was pregnant, the very first time, it never left. But do not get tired of doing what is good. I get so tired of doing what is good, especially when it's not reciprocated. I get tired of, this is my selfishness, guys. I mean, because there's not too many of us, I'm gonna be, this is my therapy. I get tired of doing good things for my kids because they don't appreciate it. I get tired of doing good things for my husband because sometimes he appreciates it and sometimes he doesn't. And sometimes he shows appreciation in a way that I don't understand. I get tired of doing good all the time. But Paul is telling the Christians in Galatia and us here today, don't get tired of doing good. Why? At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we do not give up. Man, I want that harvest now. But what I know is that it's going to come, and it may not come in this lifetime, but it will come. So that's the promise that we have. Therefore, this is the next part, beautiful part. Whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially to those in the family of the faith. So we are called to do good for everyone, especially those who are Christian. And it's not saying especially those who are L15. Like, yes, we should do something, do good to everyone, especially those in L15. But it means everyone in the household of the faith. So someone's in a different church and they do things a little bit differently, do good to them anyway, because they're of the household of the faith. Maybe there's a church where everyone comes wearing suits and ties, and that's not our style, but that's not wrong. They're brothers and sisters in Christ. We're going to be singing in heaven with them. So whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially to those in the family of the faith. But do we ever see opportunity? And if we see opportunity, do we ever do something about it? This is something that I think God calls us to, which we see right here. But it's a concept that very few people follow through with. And I am someone who is learning to do that. But I want to highlight my friend Rebecca here, who is excellent at doing this. She is a person who she sees a need and she writes a card. She makes you feel special. Like on my birthday, she gave me like 20 packets of nails, and I'm a nail girly, and I felt seen but I think it's one of these things that it doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come naturally for me, but when I see it in someone else, it makes me want to do it for someone. So there is an excellent quote that says, "Do for the one what you wish you could do for the many." So it's originally an Andy Stanley quote. Andy Stanley is a preacher in a large church in America. But actually, Will Guidara quoted it in his Unreasonable Hospitality book. And it's applicable for Christians, but it's applicable to everyone in everyday life. Do for the one what you wish you could do for the many. How often does something come up and a thought, and it goes like this: oh, I see Shelley, and Shelley's kids and my kids get along really well, and she's having a tough time. Maybe I'll offer to babysit her kids. It'll be easy. They go to the same school. We live on the same road. It'll give her a break for a couple of hours. Oh, but Shelley's really close to Susan, and Susan's kids are a lot younger, and they live on the other side of the city. And if I offered to mind Shelley's kids, I can't offer to mind Susan's kids. So it never happens. Or what about, oh, I want to meet that person for coffee, but that person has texted me, and that person has texted me, and that person has texted me, and I never got back to it, and the overwhelm. But what I like about this concept is just do for that one person what you wish you could do for everyone. Guys, the enemy wants nothing more than for us to be overwhelmed, because when we're overwhelmed, we freeze and we do nothing. But God calls us to faithfulness and to not be overwhelmed and to do the next right thing. So do for the one what you wish you could do for the many. Because I believe that the kingdom of God, and I've seen it throughout the Bible, it works one person at a time. When Jesus saw the woman at the well, that was what he spoke to one person, and he changed her life. When Jesus saw Zacchaeus in the tree and said, "Follow me," he changed his life, one person at a time. My Auntie Verena, who I referred to earlier, there was a time when I was about Micah's age, about 9 or 10, where my dad got really, really unwell, and he was in intensive care. We weren't sure what was going to happen. It was a very, very traumatic time. And she showed up to our doorstep with a week's worth of groceries. And these were not last week of the month groceries. These were, I've just gotten a bonus groceries. It wasn't okie dokies, it was hunky dories. It was Heinz beans, Heinz ketchup, Andrex toilet paper, my first and last time. But in that moment, what was a very traumatic time, there was just a little bit of joy. She couldn't fix my dad. She couldn't help him health-wise, but she could do one practical thing: to love us. And so that's what the do for the one what you wish you could do for the many. There's another quote in the book Unreasonable Hospitality saying, "Service is black and white, hospitality is color," and that's attributed to the author, Will Guidara. And he explains it like this: service is showing up, service is doing the thing, but when he says the word hospitality, he's saying hospitality is going that one step further. Service is coming to church, but hospitality is meeting together. Service is being part of a team. Hospitality is including people. Service is, even for example, like in your work, service is going to your 9 to 5, and keeping to yourself in during lunch hour. But hospitality is actually, I don't want to talk to this person, but that person seems really down. Let me just go out of my comfort zone and see how they are. That's what he refers to as hospitality. Hospitality is color. It's seeing the person. And I think that that's where we as a church really have a great opportunity to step into. The next quote says, "People will forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you make them feel." And this is him quoting Maya Angelou. When Oz and I were still in Dublin, before a church plant was ever in our minds, we participated in church. We were a part of a local church. We served, and we led a local Bible study group. There was a couple who had just recently started attending, and one evening late at night, my husband got a call. The wife had unfortunately lost a baby, and they had just been discharged from hospital and had no way home. It was extremely late. So at the time, we were in Dublin City Centre. My husband went and picked them up, but on the way to picking them up, because we'd learned from my Auntie Verena, he stopped by the 24-hour Tesco and he got them groceries, and he brought them and their groceries home from the hospital. Now, I didn't even remember this until 2 years ago. So the first story that happened was 10 years ago, and then 2 years ago, we got a text message saying, announcing the birth of a healthy baby, and them saying, "You were with us in our darkest times, and we wanted to celebrate this with you." And when we got that text, I was like, what are they talking about? And Oz had to remind me, because, see, this is the thing. For us, it was a minor inconvenience. You know, like, I stayed home with the kids. Yes, maybe it was like 50 or 100 quid. Oz went out, picked them up, dropped them home. Wasn't that big a deal. It wasn't that big a deal to me. That's why I could not remember it. But it was a big deal to them because they felt it. They felt loved in that moment, in their darkest moments. So people will forget, if we can just go back one more time. People will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you make them feel. So I don't know why we have the next quote again. Do for the one what you wish you could do for the many, and then if we can move to the next slide, excellent. So that is my first point today, is to do for the one what you wish you could do for the many. We had a beautiful story from another church that really encapsulated this, and it was a girl on kids team who kept showing up, and one Sunday she didn't show up, and her sister was there, and the lady who was running it asked where she was, because she was always there, and she said, you know what, actually she's in hospital, she's giving birth, it's a surprise pregnancy, she's hid it, there's a lot of shame involved, and this is a team member, part of the church, and the pastor of that church immediately made sure that her team leader had the credit card and went out and bought a pram and a bassinet and clothes, and they actually had a really great time shopping for it. He gave the team leader and his wife the authority and said, whatever you want for your baby, buy it for her. And that's what it looks like. Do for the one what you wish you could do for the many. No church has that in their budget, but they can do it for one. And if we can do it for one, we will. And that's the impact that can have. Now that is a very expensive example, but she is a key member in their team. And you know what that was? That was Jesus' love in action. That's the Jesus of the Bible. That's not the church. That's not how sometimes the church would see it. That's the Jesus of the Bible who says, leave your guilt, leave your shame, and just follow me. I love you. And so now Paul also wrote to the Thessalonian church. We're going to look at it up here. It's so good. It's on my t-shirt. We share more than Sundays. We loved you so much that we shared with you not only God's good news, but our own lives too. So he's writing this letter to a group of people and encouraging them how to live. He had gone and he had spent time speaking there, preaching there, and he knew that they knew the gospel. He knew that they knew the good word, the good news, because he was the one who presented it. But he didn't just come and give information. No, we loved you so much that we shared with you not only God's good news. I mean, we could put a full stop there and be like, actually, sharing God's good news, that's the difference between eternal life and death. Like, that's enough. You could love me, you could love me to the ends and back and just share with me God's good news and I will feel loved. But no, he took it further and said, but we shared our own lives too. And that's what the church is. The church is not this. This is Sunday service. And this is a part of what the church does. But the church is in the everyday. The church is on the Monday texting someone and saying, how are you doing? The church is in the Tuesday going for coffee with someone. The church is in the Wednesday, going to Alpha. The church is in the Thursday when you meet up with someone for coffee. The church is in the Friday just dropping over a meal to someone. The church is in the Saturday band practice where we meet up and we do Bible study and we worship together, not only rehearse. The church is in, yes, the church is in our team meetings in the morning. The church, this is also the church, but the church is in the Sunday afternoons when you go for lunch. When you look at someone and say, I've not had a conversation with you. Let's go for lunch. Let's share our lives with each other. And I think we had an amazing experience of that last week, where we went to the barbecue where Kerman and Janice opened up their home. And it was so fantastic how so many people were so generous and there was so much food and we just had a good time and we shared our lives, we shared stories, we shared a lot of bad karaoke from me but a lot of laughs, and that is the church. The church, again, it's not just Sunday service. And this is why on a Sunday we do have such a specific time length. It's intentional. It's intentional that we're done at 12. Why? So that you can not only go to church, but you can be the church. So that on Sunday afternoons, you have that time, that opportunity to be the church and share your life. So guys, I have a radical challenge for you before we finish up. It's two things actually, and it's based on our two verses that we came from. There we go. So from Galatians, do for one what you wish you could do for the many. And I'm gonna pause right here, and this is not a soundbite. This is a challenge for you guys. And I want you right now to think of someone either in this room or in the kids' room. And I want you to think of a person and what you're gonna do. So I want you to now commit. I'm not gonna go around the room and put pressure on, but I want you, if any of this has resonated with you, if any of this hits you, I want you to think of something nice that you can say or do for someone. Let me give you some examples. You can send a text. You can invite someone out for coffee. You can invite someone over for lunch. You can have a chat with someone, make someone feel seen. It doesn't have to cost money. So I'm going to now, I have someone in my mind, and I'm committing to doing something for them. So I'm going to do for the one what I wish I could do for the many. And I'm sorry if I don't offer anyone a cup of coffee because I'm finite, just like you guys. But you know what? If every single person in here invites one person for a cup of coffee, think of the difference that's going to make. So do for the one what you wish you could do for the many. And I pray in Jesus' name that we do that one thing this week. If there's anything that you take away from this, is that one action. And then my second challenge to you, share your life. And isn't that probably the harder challenge? You know, do for the one, yeah, I can send a text. You know, do for the one, yeah, I can, show up with groceries, because that's easy, because it's showing them love, but then I can pull away again. But sharing your life is vulnerable. Sharing your life means being seen. Sharing your life, actually, it can be dangerous. But this is where we see Jesus' example. He didn't just give the information and say, there you go, be done with it. He stepped into humanity. He shared his life. He gave his life. And look at what a difference it has made. So my two challenges today are, do for one what you wish you could do for the many, and share your life.